for this race replay, this stream rather. Here we go, road to GT7 top split, race 1 replay. Race 1 replay, watching live, tweet. Alright, let's see what happens here. So just quickly go through the list. We got Andrew and Twitchy on the front row of the grid as usual. Adam, NX Matt G, really good qualifying from him. Smoke in 5th, Tezza 6th, Ram Sub-Zero, which I think is Ram Smoke Show. I think he renamed himself this week. Green Goldfish put in a pretty good lap. Goat, I think pretty much everyone, yeah, from 7th, I think 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, no, yeah, 7th, 8th, and 9th were all a 54.9. Actually gave Goat a tow around when he set his lap. Hyper was a 55.0 and I was a 55.1, and then I think Speedy was a 55.3, and kind of from looking at the qualifying, I wasn't too worried about anyone from behind, so I decided to start on the medium tyres, just because, yeah, I wasn't too worried about the speed of any of the guys behind, and so I didn't want to start on the hards and just risk them kind of sending it on turn 1, so instead one of the mediums made sure that we get a nice little gap at the start. Take a look what everyone did start on. So Andrew Softs, Twitchy on the mediums. Interesting that those two diverted from their strategy. Adam on the mediums, Matt on the mediums, Smoke on the mediums, Tezza on the mediums, Sub-Zero on the hards, Green Goldfish on the mediums, Goat on the mediums, Hyper on the hards. That surprised me actually, because I thought he might start on the mediums as well. Speedy Tires mediums, Mooksy mediums, Corey Haas mediums. I think Cedar started on the softs. Not sure if that was a strategy choice or he just forgot to change after quali. Then we got hards, hards, hards. So let's get the race underway. So I noticed, I think Hyper flicks on traction control, or does he not? Must have been someone else. Let's take a look. Yeah, he puts on traction control. I went without traction control because with my setup, with the traction, it just like bogged down too much. But I'm actually going to get a pretty mediocre start here. I mean, it seemed reasonable, but then just, yeah, a little bit too much wheel spin. So I move across, try to get the inside line, but Corey's there on the inside, so I'm going to have to try and go around the outside. Thankfully, Corey does back off, but then he's there up the inside a little bit there, just a little bit of a tap, and then, yeah, Corey's going to get past. So pretty unlucky there. Who was that who went off at the start? I think it was Green Goldfish. So let's take a look here. Where is he? Why is it not letting me select him? Green Goldfish. There we go. So what happens here? Does he get a tap from behind from Goat, or is he just on the cold tires just go deep himself? No, he's just going to go deep himself. And then, yeah, just off the track. Very easy to do at Suzuka. So, does he keep it on? Yeah, just about. Goat has that big moment there. So, Hyper currently in 9th. I've dropped all the way back to 12th. So, I've lost 2 positions at the start. Pretty mediocre. But I think as we come around Dunlop Curve, this is like kind of the first time I got to look in the mirror. And I saw, okay, those guys are falling back. And the way I had my car set up, I was just so much quicker through Dunlop than pretty much everyone else. So I was always gaining time there. And then just, yeah, if I was behind someone else, it was just going to hold me up a lot. So I think Speedy might go for a move here. No, what's going to happen? I think, yeah, I do get past Corey. So Speedy moves out. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe someone will have a go there. That's a bit unlucky. Yeah, I didn't realize that Corey actually got contact from me there. So probably should have redressed that. Sorry, Corey. But in any case, we do pull away from him pretty quickly. He kind of ends up falling back about 1.3 seconds at some point, and then just never really is up with us again. So what's going to happen here? So we've got Goat and Sub-Zero going for it. So Sub-Zero is on the hard, Goat's on the mediums, and Sub just gets himself on the grass all by himself here. So he's got plenty of space. He moved. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Okay, so he was backing off to let go through, but then I guess he just was maybe looking in the mirrors or looking in the radar and didn't realize that he was drifting over to the side of the track. So this actually really bunched up the pack, and like if you see it from my perspective, I saw this happening and I was like, oh god. So yeah, trying to slow down. Little bump there, bump from behind from Corey, bump into Sub again. Just all over the place, but then, yeah, Sub comes in. And now I have Cedars and Corey right up behind me. We just lost a lot of time there. You see the gap now to Speedy Tires. We're just out of slip. So I go inside, like, I just don't want to have like these guys coming up the inside, so we have to pin it to the corner, but then Corey ends up giving me the bump there, and that gives Cedars Proud the daylight to then go through. So yeah, really unfortunate that we gain a position and then we immediately drop back behind another driver. So moving up here, Hyper's actually doing a really good job on the hards to have not really gotten overtaken by anyone. So I think this start for him is like really fucking good. You see Goat has already pulled just this huge lead. Look at how far ahead Goat is from me. He's already going through Dagna like 2 right now as we're just coming into Dagna 1. So keep that in mind for a little bit later on. So it's Speedy Tires here. He's on the mediums, Hyper on the hards. Does he have a go? No, he doesn't. But Seed is Proud takes that opportunity to go up the inside. So he's on the softs. Let's take a look at that. So he does a very good job there to actually get it slowed down. Late move from Cedars, but a good move. You know, he is on the soft tires, and look at that, he didn't lose really any time because Hyper's still right there. So that's about as good an aggressive move on the softs as you could get. So up ahead, we've still got Goat, NX Mats, Distinct Tesla, Smokescreen, and then Andrew's well gone. He's on the softs. He's just absolutely running. Twitchy on the mediums. Adam staying right with him. Now I think something might happen to NX Matt here. Yep. So he gets onto the curb and then just loses it into the brake board there. Knocks over the 100 just for good measure, and that's his race pretty much ruined. I mean, at least he's on the mediums, not on the softs. So moving up ahead, yep, Hyper comes into the pits, so looks like Cedars just gets past. Oh, hey Shaki. Yeah, I saw you did a pretty good, like a 54-2 in the end. So, okay, so Cedars, oh, he got ahead at Spoon, so let's take a look at this. So we've just been talking about what a good move Cedars had done at the hairpin, and now he's going to get another move done here. So Hyper a little bit wide there on the curb. And yeah, Cedars does manage to get through cleanly, so good opportunistic drivers from Cedars in this opening start of the race. Shaq says, my ratings were tanked and I didn't fix it, so yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, a win's a win, right? So Speedy Tires is also going to lose there. Oh, actually, yeah, I do remember this. This was a scary fucking moment. This could have been my race over right here. So watch on board from what I saw. I see him go there, he runs wide, and it's like, oh god, is he gonna hit me? Look how close that was. Oh, and we just passed, yeah, that's also Matt losing it on the same lap. So we actually just did pick up 2 positions. Now, very, very similar thing happens at the Bathurst race and the MX-5s last season, where I think it was Schnickerman lost control of the car, and he just didn't ghost, and I just had nowhere to go, and he just ends up T-boning me. Oh boy, that was pretty close right there. Yeah, so that definitely could have been my race over, but lucky it wasn't. Then obviously I saw Matt coming there and moved over just in case he came back onto the track. And then yeah, I come around and I see Hyper peel off into the pits, and I was like, ah, you sneaky boy, starting on the hards. So really good opening laps from Hyper on the hards, gets that stint out of the way without really losing any ground at all. Shucky, I finished 5th. Sorry to spoil anyone who's watching, but stay around and watch if you want, because there's quite a few more incidents yet to come, I think. So let's take a look. We got Stinks, Tezza, and Smokescreen in a battle for 4th. Adam doing really well to hang on to Twitchy at this point. So Twitchy had a pretty mediocre lap there, 58.4, compared to Adam's 57.7. Obviously Andrew on the softs is so far ahead already. So yeah, now at this point, I see that Cedars is up ahead. I assumed he was on the softs based on the pace that he had and the moves that he was doing. And so I was watching the gap, and he wasn't really pulling away, so that was giving me like fairly good confidence that even if he's ahead at this point in the race, probably he's not going to pull enough of a gap on me that it's going to matter later on. And we see Goat, he has now dropped off of the back of these two. I don't know if actually he was up with them or not. We got Corey back here. So where did Hyper end up coming out? So Hyper's just behind Sub-Zero. So nice big gap from 15th to 14th for these guys to use their medium tyres. So Sharky on the chat says, top 5 awesome distinct races will dominate tuning because they're in the international team, which sucks. I could smash Tezza most times, and I've been beating Twitchy in daily times recently. I mean, that's why you get into a team, to kind of have that advantage. So we're going to see Speedy Tyres. Is he going to go off 2 laps in a row? Yeah, he does. So I'm not sure if Speedy Tyres has had a lot of practice for this. We also think Diswood, something's happened here as well. So Wood has a penalty, probably from cutting the first Degner. Comes in here, just runs wide up onto that curb, gets a little bit sideways, then is wiggling left and right. I think he was ghosting because of the penalty. Yep. And so now Speedy Tyres is 2 laps in a row going to end up running wide here. He's not on the hards either. I guess he's just not running a tune with enough of a turn in to take it flat in the race, and that's catching him out. So yeah, he's into the barrier there. And we see that Goat has been overtaken by Cedars Proud, so into the hairpin. Nice late braking move here from Cedars, gets it up the inside, and Goat does have the track awareness to let him through there. So a sensible move from Goat in that circumstance. Shaki says, oh well, I cannot be bothered with a team. I seem to do well by myself, I guess. My best time in the race was a 55.9 while tyre saving. I decided to go 8 soft laps. Wow, 8 soft laps. Did you use the Genesis or the Aston? So at this stage, Adams dropped back a little bit. Twitchy had a much better second laps, 57.2. Adam 57.6, so about 3 tenths behind. Smoke on a 57.9. Tezza on a 58.1. Yeah, so Sharky says he used the DBR9. So if I just take a little bit of a check on the tyres between myself and Goat. You can see Goat's tyres are already a little bit worse. I wonder how mine actually compared to the top guys. So pretty similar between Twitchy and Adam. I think Twitchy's rears are a little bit worse than Adam's. Compare that to mine. Yeah, I'm about the same as Adam. Oh yeah, if you use softs last, then F5059 is pretty. I mean, it's still pretty quick. I think I could only manage like maybe a 56.1 or 56.2 in race setting. But yeah, 55.9 is certainly pretty good. What was your finishing time? Do you know? So you'll see that Goat here is on a 59.8 and a 58.6 his last 2 laps. So we're gaining a lot of time on him. You remember just a couple of laps ago as I was coming through here, he was already up where Distinct Tezza was just about, maybe just about where that cone is. And just from driving behind Goat, I could see he's just very, very loose, all over the place. Obviously a very loose rear end on his car. And so now, midway through this 5th lap, we closed right up to the back of him already. Oh, hey Nith. Yeah, sorry about that. Did you message me on Discord? I don't think... Yeah, I didn't have any messages from you. So we're gonna start gaining on Goat here. I do give him the flush just to tell him, like, if you want to let me through, let me through. He decides not to, so I do have a little bit of look up the inside there, but he moves across to defend it. Then he takes a lot of grass on the entrance, but I back out. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised by Goat's moves here, because he did let Cedars through without too much of a battle, but then he's kind of just decided that he wants to fight for this position, despite the fact that he's rapidly falling off the pace. So I come up here, he goes to defend the inside, so we're going to be on the outside, and then he moves over to squeeze me on the outside there. I mean, fair enough, very close there. He moved from the... moved over to the inside to try and defend the apex, so I couldn't cut back. That ends up me going into the back of him, and then we have a very messy moment here as he comes into the side of me, and then I kind of get squeezed off over onto the grass there. And you see that Corey is now just like massively caught up. You see kind of how far he was behind, and then by the end of all this, he's right on us. So we're just losing massive amounts of time here from Goat. Hey, Lounzy. Yeah, Nif, I mean, it's not dirty from him. I don't think anything he's like, he's aggressively defending, and that's his right, of course, so I don't think it's really dirty. But yeah, we are now losing a lot of time because of it. So a little bit of a check up here. Andrew well far ahead. Twitchy pulling away from Adam. Adam away from the next group of Smoke. Tezza actually falling back. So Tezza's pace, either Smoke's pace is really good or Tezza's pace isn't that great at this track. I think Tezza was saying that his pace here wasn't too good. Not to take anything away from Smoke. He's driving significantly well, I'd say. Cedars here in 6th. Has to be pretty happy with his progress. I think he started about 13th, so good opening soft stint from him. And actually here we got past Go. Oh yeah, so this was a very, very late move here that I do. Yeah, at this point, because I knew he was going to probably defend 130R, so I was like, alright, let's get up the inside here, make the pass stick. He does turn in on me, actually, a little bit there. So I'm not really sure what that was about. We'll watch it from my perspective than his perspective. Luckily, Corey has fallen back a little bit. So yeah, pretty nice move there, I gotta say, from myself. Tap myself on the back there. Oh, hey Dan, you're not gonna race tonight? That's a shame. would have really been interested to see how you did. Especially because essentially the way this car's handling with the tune is like the RS01, which I know you love driving. So I saw a goat behind me and I was like, the kid's probably gonna have a go if he sees daylight. So I do kind of defend the middle of the track, which is probably a shitty bad decision from me, because it does cost us a little bit of time and makes it so that they get a pretty good run now coming down to the first corner here. So I'm going to defend the inside this time, move over to the middle of the track, and then yeah, I just want to try and keep it as pinned to the inside as possible so that he can't get his nose up my inside. And I know that I'm going to probably pull away from him through these S's, because this is where he's like really struggling. If you take a look at the tyre difference, you can see his fronts are starting to get, you know, quite visibly worse than what mine are. And so we had this really weak 2-minute lap as we were battling on that last lap. Cars look weird with their rears raised high, do they? I don't think it looks that different. I mean, it's a couple of millimeters difference, right? So I was actually surprised here that I didn't pull away as much as I'd hoped over Goat, but he does have my slipstream, so that's helping him a little bit. And then I have a pretty poor exit there from Spoon, so that doesn't help either. And now Corey is going to be coming up, potentially challenging Goat as well. So, ooh, Corey just there on the curb. Manages to keep it together though. So I know I'm coming into the pits this lap, and I'm going to get extra careful not to spin out or anything. All the leaders go into the pits. And actually, I missed this, so Tezza has a little bit of a moment here. So Tez gets loose on the exit. Gets a little bit of grass on his tyres, and now I think what's going to happen is Cedars is going to go for a move. But Tez kind of, yeah, it's very unlucky for Tez. But I'm not sure if he's moving over here. Yeah, it's just 100% on Cedars. He kind of thinks there's going to be a gap, and then kind of Tez just moves over to the middle of the track, which of course he has the right to do. And then Cedars tries to suddenly move over to the left to go for a much smaller gap than he thought he was going to have. Just gets on the grass and just takes out Tez. So pretty unlucky for these two. So into the pits, taking tyres. Well, Sharky, a 32.18's not that quick, so it must have been a 32.8. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Tez wanted to try and defend, so he kind of puts his car in the middle of the track. And then Cedars wants to go for the move, and he just puts in too much steering angle, which sent him onto the grass. So I mean, it's not Tez's fault. And it's a mistake from Cedars, basically. So in all of that, we've come out of the pits, and I believe Hyper has just gone through, so he's now several laps into his medium stint, and I'm on the softs. So I decided to go for the softs here because I wasn't sure what Goat is going to do. I think it's quicker to go for the hards, A few of the other guys who started on the mediums went for the hards as well. So your overall finishing time will be better, but I didn't want to come out on hards and have Goat and Corey on softs overtaking me, because any time gain from running softs at the end would just immediately be wiped out from having to lose 2 positions in these couple of laps during hards. So went for the softs, and very, very quickly realised that we're catching Hyper quite fast. So Hyper's last time was 59.3. And he's on, what's that, lap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his hard. He's on lap 6 of his hard stint, so 2 more to go for Hyper on the hards. On the medium, sorry. And so we visually close up a lot for Spoon, and enough to actually get into his slipstream, but not close enough that we're going to be able to get any kind of move done before 130R. And so I'm looking back at this point, and I see that Goat is pretty close by, and so we need to get past Hyper as quick as possible. So we actually are going to go for the move here, and I know that Hyper's a driver who I can race with. He's not going to clumsily, clunk over the curb and push me off, as we see Sub-Zero already pitting for his softs on the end of lap A. So he's going to go very, very long on the softs. So we get past Hyper, and now Hyper has Goat coming up behind him. And I'm kind of hoping here that Goat is going to get stuck behind Hyper for the whole S's, and that will just give me a gap that I'm not going to have to worry about defending from Goat in these opening laps of the soft stint. Yeah, Nif, just send me a message on Discord and I'll send you some screenshots. Okay, so we see the Hyper here is just struggling a little bit of the rear as we come out of that corner, and a little bit of a bump there from Goat. That sends Hyper a little bit wide, and then another little bump there from Goat. So Goat does end up getting past. It's cost him a little bit of time, but I think he was kind of pushing Hyper along as much as Hyper was potentially holding him up. So it didn't make as big a gap as what I hoped. So looking up ahead, we've got Andrew now on the mediums, just in a race on his own. Adam on the softs. Twitchy went onto the hards. Smoke on the hards. Myself on the softs. Currently running 5th. Goat, softs. Hyper, end of his medium stint. Corey went onto the hards, so not going to see him for a while. And we got Tezza and Cedars now. So Tezza went onto the hards, Cedar went onto the mediums, so part 2 of their battle. So Twitchy pits to get rid of the hards after a couple of laps. Smoke follows him in. So we're going to inherit 3rd place. So we do 57.0, which is a pretty slow lap for the softs at this point in the race. They should be running mid 56s at my pace. Goat does a 57.2 though, so we have pulled away a little bit from Goat. He did get held up by Hyper though. Adam does a 55.9, so very, very quick lap from him. And so Hyper has come into the pits, and he's come out on his soft tyres with just a huge gap in front of him. So he can absolutely push. Corey also on the softs with nice free clean air. Tezza with a little bit of traffic in front of him. So we might have just had a change of position here. So what's going on? Got Hyper in 9th, Cedars and Sub-Zero. So Cedars on mediums, Sub on slightly more worn softs. And so quite an easy pass there for Sub. Cedars just kind of concedes the inside line for him. Okay, so at this point we've got Twitchy on softs, which are a couple of laps younger, and he's caught up to the back of Goat. I'm at this stage about 1.8 seconds ahead of Goat, and was definitely hoping the Goat might fight Twitchy here, but no, he backs off and just lets Twitchy through. So Twitchy on his fresher tyres is going to catch up to me. We'll just actually check the tyre wear difference between Goat and myself. So yeah, we see that Goat's front's a little bit worse, and rears, both tyres just worse. Goat did 58.4, well, he's done 57.0, 57.3, 57.7, 58.4. I did 56.9, 57.2, or 57.0, 56.9, 57.2, 57.6, 58.2. So that's how we pulled away from Goat. But then we're going to have Twitchy here behind me, and I was looking back and I kind of see this like flashing his lights, but it's a little bit hard to tell. But yeah, I'm just going to back off here and just let him go through. A little bit of an awkward clunk there. He gives the indicators to say thank you. And now I'm just like hoping that I have enough tyre life to stay in his slipstream as we exit Spoon. So try and concentrate on getting a really good exit there, and manage to hold on to his slipstream to gain a little bit of that time back that I lost letting him through. A little bit of a lift here just because we don't know how much grip the tyres are going to give us, and with the extra speed of the slipstream, jump onto the brakes, and I think we're going to be coming into the pits on this lap to put on our hards. So yep, into the pits. See Goat comes in about 2 seconds later. So I've got Cedars and Hyper back here, and we're going to come out, and Cedars is just going to be calming up, as we're just going to absolutely stick it onto the inside, not risk going wide whatsoever. And then again here, I just made sure to absolutely stick it onto the apexes of every single one of these corners, even if it was meaning that I had to sacrifice a little bit of speed, because I just did not want to get past here. And then I'm just going to use my setup superiority through Dunlop to then just drive away from Cedars. So we get that done. We see that Hyper and Goat are going to battle here. Do we have any incident from them? So Goat comes out, Hyper going to get past. Yes, he does. So up into 8 for Hyper. And then Goat just bashes into Hyper there. And flushes his indicator. So is he going to let Hyper back through? Hyper's tyres fairly poor condition actually. No, Goat is going to battle with him, so Goat gives him a little bit of a howdy doody and then just drives off. But yeah, Hyper's tyre is definitely not in a good state at the moment. And Sub-Zero He's actually done a pretty good job on his very, very long soft stint here. It does run deep there at the chicane, so let's come back here. Okay, so Hyper probably pretty angry with Goat at this point. He's going to try look up the inside. No, flips over to the outside. This is a risk, obviously running side by side through 130R, so he backs out of it. Goat stays inside to defend, and Hyper's actually going to try and go around the outside. So this will be interesting. So yeah, good move there from Hyper. Cedars obviously peels off into the pits. And now Corey has joined the battle. He's on the softs as well. His tyres are in a much better condition than Hyper's. So Hyper on very worn softs versus Goat on the hards. And we're just going to pop away from this for a moment to see Sub-Zero here. So gets too much curb there on the inside of Dunlop, and then ends up running wide and going for a trip through the gravel. You see, I come around the corner and see this happening, and I start salivating because I know that his tyres are going to be dirty now from this. So he's very slow through here, having to take it cautious. Kicks up a little bit more dust there. And we'll see if we can pick up a bunch of time here at the hairpin from him. So we aggressively jump on the throttle there. We're in the slipstream. So can we go for the move, the same one that we did against Goat? So not close enough to get it done there. Meanwhile, we've got Corey and Hyper. Hyper's been dropped back to 9th. We'll take a look at that in a second. So coming up behind Sub-Zero here. He's going to defend the inside line. I have a little bit of a look there. Nope. And then he goes to move across. I go to move across. A little bit clumsy there. But then he ends up cutting the inside a little bit too much. And that just sends him a little bit too wide there. And he manages to hold on to it, which is impressive. We'll watch it then from his perspective here. So comes across. Yeah, turns in too early. And just gets out there on the curb. Lucky not to completely spin there. So we move up into 5th place. And then, yeah, he has the dirty tyres and picks up a penalty for good measure. So easy 5th there in the end for us. We'll just take a look at what happened here with Hyper. So Hyper on the start of this lap, he's in 7th. And Goat is going to try and go for the move up the inside. Yeah, so very awkward there. Ends up costing Hyper 2 positions. So essentially this is the exact same as what Cedars was trying to do to Tez. So Hyper's going to move over to the middle of the track to defend, but Goat is then going to yeah, go over to the left. So I think, yeah, basically what Hyper needed to do here to try and avoid this was move right over to the left of the track. Unfortunately, Goat, if he sees any kind of daylight, is just going to go for this move. Yeah, really difficult one there. And then obviously the contact physics in this game is going to bounce Hyper off to the side of the track. And then he gets out on this curve where he's... I mean, it's testament to his car control that he's able to even keep the car on the track with softs that are that one. And then again here. Yeah, 32.04 seems more correct, Sharky. So who's going to end up winning this? Oh god. Well, they did a fairly good job of that. That's about as well as I've seen two cars go through 130R side by side as possible. So Tesla all the way back here after his incident ends up finishing 10th. Oh, and goes off for good measure. Cedar's going to end up 12th. Goldfish, after going off on the first lap, didn't really make any kind of progress. Don't know if he had any other major incidents. Pretty bad on the tyre wear as well. So to recap, we have Distinct Andrew, aka Amazing Hour, Distinct Twitchy, 1-2. This time Adam gets third place, Smokescreen with another great result, fourth, myself fifth, Ram Sub-Zero giving up fifth place on the last lap to come home sixth. We got Goat in seventh after a bit of an incident-filled race, Corey in eighth, Hyperdrift in ninth, disappointed with his result. Tezza in 10th after his incident with Cedar's Proud. Shano, a nice 11th place there. Cedar's Proud, 12th. Oha Yogurt, no 1 minute penalty this week, but down there in 13th. Green Goldfish, 14th. Speedy Tires, 15th. Looks like he had quite a few problems as well. And NX Matt, 16th. So a couple of these guys, they must have had multiple incidents. I mean, Matt qualified 4th, Speedy Tires. Goldfish was qualified in the top 10. But don't think I can be bothered to go through the whole race for every single person. Andrew, 54 flat. Yeah, that's after his pit stop, so it's not a legit time. That's why it's not his fastest time. I think his fastest time was like a 55.3 or something. 55.7. I assume that stayed the fastest lap of the race. Unless Twitchy stole it. Oh yeah, so Twitchy steals the fastest lap. 55.5. So 55.5. 55.9 for Adam. 55.7 for Smoke. 56.3. Terrible 56.9 for me. But I wasted my first soft lap. Uh, 56.7 for Hyper. $57.0 for Goat. 56.9 for Corey. 56.5 for Tez. 57.8. 56.9 for Goldfish. What did Matt get? 57.0. Why is he on soft tires at the end? I think Matt, yeah, so Matt pitted on lap 14 to take a new pair of softs. I'm guessing he tried to go for a fastest lap. And then I think he gave up. Oh, he didn't even get to finish his time, so. Yeah, an outlet. Alright, well, that's it. Pretty fun race. Ended up scoring 271 for it. And yeah, it kind of put me in that position again where I did too well in the first race to really want to go for the second one. So, and I think I could have competed for a victory in the second race. I mean, obviously, I think Tezza probably went again. Maybe Sub-Zero did too. But I think definitely top 3 or a fight for the victory, depending on who went for slot 2. But I'm not going to risk the 270 points. Nah, Lounsey, not racing again. Just going to take the points. It's like, it's a little more satisfying, like, getting 5th in first race than getting a win second race. But yeah, that 271 should maybe move me into the top 10. If you take a look, I mean, I don't think Tezza's going to beat this 302. Cyborg's a double account. Dan said he's not running. I don't think Noodles is running, so should move ahead of Noodles. Adam obviously improved his score. Not going to move ahead of Dan. See how Tita goes, but whether the win in race 2 will be more than 271, I don't know. But otherwise, yeah, potentially going to move up in like 8th or 9th. Anyway guys, if you're still watching and you haven't hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it if you did. It just helps out the channel with the algorithm and stuff. But other than that, see you next time.